Probably started. Alright.
It is prejudice. I would define prejudice as a rigid opinion formed about a certain thing before there has been a just examination of the facts.
When a person loses track of the dignity of the...
Damn, my voice is low, dude. Damn, dude. Wait, how do I just... let me just add this real quick, where is it? Whoop. I don't have display capture. What? Cancel. Not this one though. Dude, what is it? So it has to be display capture, okay. Whatever. Non-default, okay.
the human soul, and begins to judge others not on the basis of their being persons, but on the basis of race, creed,
okay, so what's the actual topic is
Welcome to our forum discussion on the roots
of okay, it's lagging. Okay, the roots of prejudice. What? How do you say this? Prejudice. Okay. So, forum discussion on the roots of prejudice.
Roots of prejudice. We'll be talking about what our prejudices are, where they came from, how they're nourished, and perhaps even how to get rid of them. Let me introduce you to the 4 student participants in today's discussion. Ratnati Iskandardinata, high school student, 17 years old, and also a talented dancer from Indonesia. From Japan, Yoriko.
I don't want this part.
Trying to define what it is prejudice. I would define prejudice as a rigid opinion formed about a certain thing before there has been a just examination of the facts.
When a person loses track of the dignity of the human soul and begins to judge others not on the basis of their being persons, but on the basis of race, creed, economic status, that is prejudice.
That's the racist, bro. That's freaking racist. Saying no to poor people, bro.
Well, is it fair to ask you whether you have any prejudices?
Well, I guess so, Miss Smaller. And being brutally frank, I'm prejudiced against Japanese. Well, not to the extent that I hate them. No, not that way. But I got this, well, as a result of World War II.
What? But Ro is judging people, the Japanese people, based on a result of World War II.
Because, well, I guess I was yet too young to understand what happened during those times. But I think that...
What was this? 1956.
What my relatives and friends and the people who were witness to that unfaithful occasion, well, they just more than justify the fact. And I think it's justified for me to feel the same way because, well, I know that my people suffered very much under that rule.
You still as prejudiced against the Japanese as you were?
Well, 5 years ago, that prejudice of mine was, slightly fading away. But when Japan stubbornly refused to pay reparations to us, well, the prejudice began to brew again. But now I found out from close contact with Yoriko and other Japanese that Japan isn't ready to pay reparations yet. Because as Yoriko said, some of them and most of them even have to suffer the cold in the classrooms
Okay,
because
so
they
Japanese are
can't
poor.
afford to heat the schools.
In 1956.
Yuriko, you've got any prejudices?
Well, I don't have any prejudice for Philippines, but many Japanese people hate Korea because
What?
the president of Korea made the line his own line on the public sea between Korea and Japan. And if the Japanese
Who?
yes,
In the classrooms because they can't afford to heat the schools.
Yuriko, you've got any prejudices?
well, I don't have any prejudice for Philippines, but many Japanese people hate Korea
Oh,
because
Korea. I thought it's Korea.
the
The freaking communism. Yeah.
the president of Korea made the line his own line on the public sea between Korea and Japan. And if the Japanese fishermen go over the line, they are caught by Korean people,
Okay.
and they can't go home
I am having prejudice. Sis.
for a while. And we are trying to be friends for Korea.
Now that we've started, we've got to go all around the circle. Judith, you got any prejudices that you admit?
Yes, I suppose I'd better admit them, although I'm English. I have some very foolish prejudices. You'll probably laugh. For
Probably that. You probably that.
instance, as soon as I meet a person with red hair, I always put myself on my guard because I have a silly prejudice that all red-headed people have terrible tempers, you know, that they're as passionate as the colour of their hair. Oh, and then I have another silly prejudice that,
Brother, red is the best
for
color.
example, when I first met the Australian delegate, Elizabeth Woodgate, who hasn't been on television.
Delegate. Silly prejudice. A silly prejudice. Okay. Basically the face of the country or something.
Television. I was shocked by her accent because to me it sounds just like a Cockney accent would in England.
Cockney accent. Would in England.
And I hope I'm not conceited or anything, but a Cockney accent in England, you know, most English people would shudder a little bit when they hear it. But she very frankly told me that she shuddered when she heard my accent.
Shudder it. Shudder it. Okay. Makes sense. Why though? The question is why though? Why though?
I got paid back for that too.
Why did she say she did?
Oh, I think she imagined that she said she really had to forget my accent in order to like me because it's too formal. I gather most
It's
Americans
too formal. Or because it's like
think about that about the English as well.
yeah.
Right now, it's your turn.
That Maddie.
Sometimes I can prejudice against the
Dutch people. Dutch people. Oh, yeah. The Dutch Empire colonized Indonesia.
When in school, when I learned history and learned how the Dutch people treated Indonesian, and I have some other prejudices of my own. That's I hate people who are proud and who feel that he is the master of the other people and who thinks that he knows everything than anybody else.
Well,
Let's come back to you a minute, Ralph.
come on, man. It's not that bad. Oh, well, people like that around you. It's like a war going on.
Are there
Most
any
of them.
prejudices in the Philippines between groups of people?
Yes, there are existing prejudices between groups of people. As a matter of fact, most of us still, are prejudiced against a group of hybrids. Those are more
Hybrids.
Spanish blood than Filipino blood in them, and we term them as mestizos.
I cannot unsee this guy with a square mustache.
Well, these incidents usually occur in the schools. You know, I'm in a school run by Spanish monks, and we have a lot of those of that group studying in our school, and usually they are favored. But we think,
Damn. Racism.
and we think that we are right in saying that they are sort of
Aristocratic. Conceited. Aristocratic. What? How do you write this shit? Okay, it's again. Aristocratic. So it's basically aristocratic. Like this. Oh. So basically the rich people. The rich people. I forgot. Nobility, yes, nobility. And conceited. Okay, conceited. Oh. Tự phú. What the hell?
Aristocratic, conceited, and high-headed, and sore-headed, and all sorts of adjectives. And they have the foolish idea that they have the royal blood or royalty.
Fun fact, they don't.
Well, how do
Have
you get
anything.
along with these boys in school, Ralph? Are there any problems?
Well, frankly speaking, I don't get along with them pretty well. As a matter of fact, well, we usually fight with one another.
Yo, W, bro.
Is there any problem? Yes, Eureka.
Japan have had many American or European soldiers after the war, and most of them married with Japanese girls, not only formal weddings, and they made children who called hybrids. And
Hybrids.
I think the hybrids have
Not in two different races, but we are both humans. We are all human families. Different races. There's no different races.
nothing to be punished, but some grown-ups didn't used to treat as the
Damn, bro. The racism.
Japanese children, and grown-ups also used to
What, socialist? And also mistreat the people.
treat the mothers of
He's
children.
also a socialist.
No. Japanese people thought that the mothers of hybrids are not good; they are horrible
Oh, then
because
they'll
they
leave them
married
alone.
with foreign people, foreign
Oh,
boys.
yeah, now they're
And
terrible.
many
Now they're
Japanese
absolutely terrible.
people don't like to marry with foreign people
Okay.
because they have they
They're
live in
recording two different customs and they consider things in a different way. Defense.
different customs, and they consider with a different way.
You still have a strong, may I say, prejudice in Japan against marrying people from other countries, don't you?
Why? Why?
Yes.
Eureka,
Where?
could you tell us something about the status of women in Japan? We hear the strangest things, and you've been
Things.
telling me the strangest things. Could you
The strangest things.
tell us more about it?
Okay.
Before the war?
Yes, and now.
Well,
Damn, before the war. Before the war, okay.
up to about 60 years ago, Japanese people thought that white people are horrible because they are almost red hair and everything is so big and about bodies. And
They're very tall, they are tough, they are big, they are tough.
quite a few people still think so.
Okay.
And in Japan, we think that something to be beautiful must be small and delicate.
Oh, it makes sense. That's why the freaking sushi costs $10. What the fuck?
You could hardly apply the word delicate to some of the big soldiers
Big
we sent to
soldiers we
Japan,
sent to
could you? But I
Japan.
never
Okay, so we sent to Japan. Okay, so
really
we
applied the word
sent to Japan.
delicate to some of the
So you sent
big
them to
soldiers we sent
Japan.
to Japan, could you? I never knew that we looked down on us because we were big. That's a very interesting.
We always proud of that.
So you look down on people who are big. So you look down to people who are big.
If we Western men are tall and handsome, we consider that yes.
We're proud to be small and delicate.
What you said about skin.
I want to be delicate. I want to be delicate. Okay, come on. Yeah, delicate. You want to be delicate, okay. Alright, you want to be delicate.
Color.
Right?
Eureka, I've heard that the Chinese speak about us as pink people.
Chinese, pink people,
Instead of white people. It's so much more difficult to be proud of being a pink person, isn't it?
Oh,
Pink
yes,
person.
you're a pink person.
Pink person. How? A pink person.
Might as well face it. Here we are. Got it. Rodney, let's get. Yes.
Judith, since Philippines has so many colonies and well, let's say all
Oh, don't do that.
nearly
Don't say that.
all over the world. How do you
Don't
feel
say
for
that
the
here.
people in the colonies? Do you have something?
I lie if she says something stupid. Imprisonment.
Judith?
No, I personally don't have any prejudice. At least I hope I don't. But I know that a lot of Europeans think of the Asians, for example, as rather lazy. I don't mean to be rude, but that used to be the impression we
Oh,
had.
think that way as Americans, bro.
You know, when we started our colonization,
Colonization.
we thought we were doing good to you. I know that you disliked, for example, in Indonesia, you disliked the Dutch there. But they probably thought they were...
Oh no, stop capping, bro. They totally don't think about that. Totally did not.
They were not helping us.
Fuck the French.
You mentioned that we are lazy. Well, we are not exactly lazy, but they didn't get. They didn't.
Who?
They are not helping us.
But they probably thought they were helping us.
They were not helping us. You mentioned.
Okay, so you mentioned that we are lazy. She did not mention it. She said that some people think, okay? Some people thought.
Mentioned that we are
She
lazy.
didn't say it.
Well, we are not
Exactly lazy.
but they didn't get. They didn't give us a chance, and we didn't get experiments to
Experiment to build a country.
our country.
A country.
Well,
Yes.
Judy, I don't think all Asians are lazy.
No, please, you're misunderstanding me. I said that was a general opinion.
Yes.
Maybe not
General opinions.
now. I hope certainly not.
General opinion, but well, when it's not, it's well, sort of wrong to say that they are lazy. Let's just say that they've got the very flat feet that they can lift them up. Because you got to consider, for example, the climate in most of the regions in Asia. Well, it's just but natural. You can't just work with all the warm climate around you.
Not the warm climate. It's burning, boiling, cold outside. Bro. It's
Of
boiling
course, you'd
cold
always feel
outside.
like fanning yourself or going to an air conditioner.
What the frick is fanning? Never seen that before. Also fanning yourself, so it's really fan. N-I-N-G. For fanning. 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 That's a real word. What? That can't be a real word, bro. But it can't be a real word. Fanning yourself. Fanning yourself. What? That's a real word. Present participle. Okay, accept. Thank you. Present participle of fan. So fanning is okay. It doesn't have definition. Please, okay. We don't have definitions. I have examples. Not really, actually. It is unusual for all sectors of fanning to be confronting sharply reduced incomes simultaneously. Fangirl. Fan. What the freak? Fan. Past simple and past participle of fan. What? Okay. Fangirl. You cannot be a real word, bro.
Theater or something else that where it's cold.
Is there not only this difference of climate that explains a difference in tempo, but Is there a difference in philosophy, too, that perhaps we in the West haven't appreciated? I wonder.
Well, as far as I know it, and well, I think you've mentioned it in this program, that Indians think that they should never soil their hands.
So they should never soil their hands. Think.
And in the
Thank you.
Philippines, I must admit that, well, we're sort of inclined to get white-collar jobs and swivel chairs.
Swivel chair. Swivel chair. Where the heck did they get these with the swivel chair?
Swivel.
It's got swivel. What the hell is this? Swivel. Swivel. Is this like the different, like American English and British English? What?
Swivel.
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 What? It's swivel. What?
Swivel.
Yeah, it's swivel. It's called swivel.
Well, we're sort of inclined to get white-collar jobs and swivel chairs.
Swivel chair.
Most of us would.
I didn't see the definition of it. Okay, so turning. Alright, turning. Turning will do the swivel
Especially
chair.
the new college graduates.
Especially the new college graduates. We don't want to work with our hands.
We don't want to work with our hands.
Of course no
We
one
want
does.
to have, well, big bosses and with pretty secretaries around them.
Pretty secretaries.
That's the common
Chị
tip.
uống gọi mẹ đi. Uống gọi mẹ đi. Nào.
Could you give a proof that we are lazy?
Oh,
Now.
gosh, now you put me in a corner.
Now.
I'm trying to give you an example. You criticise the countries which do, you criticise the Dutch, for example, but I know the British,
They did not say that though.
when they started doing their colonisation, they tried to help the countries they were
They did not.
in. But you think that we were butting in and taking away your opportunities?
Yes, sir.
Well, yes, I think so. I'll give an example about the Dutch that we didn't get a chance to be educated, for example.
Yes, that's it.
That was
That's
when the
it.
Dutch
That
were
was
Yeah.
it.
And
Who the freak thinks colonization is good? That's not a good thing.
do you think if the people in the colony get a chance to get free, you will get them? Do you think?
Oh, now we're going right.
Cái tay uốn bẩn chứ. Mà ở đây
See,
Kinh
my
quá.
friend from Malaya is very glad that Malaya got the independence next year. She's very proud and she tells everybody that Malaya comes independent next year. Do you think that if you do that to the other places, then
Yes,
you'll make them satisfied?
well, we hope it will make them
Okay.
satisfied. Every country wants to be independent. That's only natural.
It's only
But there
natural.
comes a point somebody to decide whether they're ready to receive their independence. But I know we could go off on another long argument about that.
Maybe we can have what Antira. I
Cool,
was about
cool.
to ask them, what do they think are the most common or basic causes of our prejudices? Is it mainly skin color?
And mainly skin color.
Maybe.
You were made.
Do you mean for example, taking the American people in the South?
I guess taking the American side of it, it's just that the white people don't want to mix themselves up with the color.
Damn, bro, got a
What about
point.
the colour people? Perhaps they don't want to mix with the white people
Bro, got
either.
a point.
Well, what about, since you brought up the American race problem, I'd like to ask you, is it as bad as you thought it was going to be before you came, or is it better or worse?
Well, I think it's what I've seen here and what I've heard while I am here, and what I have read in the newspapers. It's just worse than I expected.
Don't you agree, Judith?
No, I don't agree. In England, we don't hear too much about the American problem, except, of course, when a certain case came up and the Supreme Court decision. We heard a lot about it then.
Supreme Court
But,
decision.
Not too much. And when I came here, I had imagined from that Tiller case that things would be really terrible in the South. And I found that there's a real feeling of optimism here. I stayed in a Negro family, and
Did she just say the N-word? The N-word?
I found that there's a real feeling of optimism here. I stayed in a Negro family, and and I was able to see
A what family? A what family?
the position, really a bird's eye view of it, you might say. And the first thing that impressed me was that the Negroes themselves,
Who doesn't it's from 1956, bro? What?
were not happy about the situation, but were pleased. They were grateful for what progress had been made.
What? What program did this?
And they were sure that the situation would continue to improve. They said,
it would never
In
improve.
2 weeks you were in New Jersey, but you stayed in the Negro
When I
family.
was in the Negro family.
Why are they saying the N-word, bro?
I know that was in the northern part, and conditions was better there. And I was very impressed with that. They said it would be a slow process, but things were gradually improving. It was a matter of breaking down tradition, and I was very happy to find that.
I'd like to know some of your other experiences with, yes, Eureka.
I've never seen any evidence of racial prejudice in the United States. But
You know. Oh, what?
I found out that most Negroes labor.
Buddy, that is not a good word to say to black people, bro.
And they don't have a high position
At
in
least
business.
they're telling the truth,
But
but
I was very glad when I saw the Negro girl in South Orange, in
come
Columbia
on,
High School,
can you stop saying the N-word?
who was vice president
Vice
of the
president.
student council.
Damn, student council.
I'm glad you did too. Yes, right now.
Here in New York and New Jersey, I don't see any
Racial
racial,
segregation.
segregation or something like that. But
Segregation. Segregation. What? If segregation is really distant, why bother adding? Why bother adding racial in front of it? What? This is something. Okay. It's the same thing.
when we stop in Williamsburg and stop in Negro school, I saw it's very strictly. I mean, the Negro school goes to the special Negro, and I was talking to some of the girls in the school, and I asked them how they feel about being segregated, but they said that they don't mind about that, and what they want is equal rights.
Yeah,
And
that's what they want, and that's what they didn't get. But now they weren't getting. Okay, they didn't get, but now they have.
there are some places that they can go, such as restaurant or some club, and I think that since all Americans claim and emphasize that America is the most democratic country in the world.
Most democratic country in the world. Yeah, on purpose it is. Don't know on paper. On paper it's also not the most democratic country in the world. Of course not. Who thinks that, bro?
And as long as segregation exists, I don't think it's a democratic.
It's not democratic.
Well, adding something to that, isn't it that, in the Pledge of Allegiance to the American flag, you mentioned something about I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation indivisible under God, with liberty and justice for all.
Yes.
Well, the last phrase just doesn't sort everything.
Everything.
With this segregation problem here and the discrimination against colored people, how in the world could you have liberty and justice for all? And in one of my hospitality periods, I didn't expect that even the kids could carry it that far. I had the privilege.
Kids, or even the white kids, would say the N-word. In freaking 1956, 1956, and people still say the N-word. This was almost 100 years ago.
Say, attending one of the dances sponsored by.
Oh, by the way, this was during the American.
By one of the civic groups. And I just noticed that, well, it was a big dance floor, and all the white kids were assembled on the left side, and the most, well, shall we say, not strategic part of the ballroom, but all the colored boys and girls were in there. And I never saw a white boy asking a colored girl for a dance, nor did I see a colored boy asking a white girl for a dance.
Damn.
I had a nasty experience too. When I first arrived here, I happened to mention to a group of young people that I was going to stay with the Negro family. One of the boys got up and walked out of the room, and I felt awful. I thought, well, we're in the north now, not in the south. And then when we did go into the south, I really came against it pretty hard. We went into a big store, and I was in the ladies' cloakroom, and I was washing my hands, and I was with a group of the Eastern delegates, the rather darker-skinned ones, like Nati. And I was standing a little apart from them, and this lady came up to me.
Oh, it's basically saying like right now she didn't mean the room.
And she pulled me to one side, obviously assuming that I was American, and she said, "What are these Negroes doing in here?"
They probably not say that's what it probably says another anecdote with a heart or.
And I was so cross, and I told her as calmly as I could that I was with them and who we were. And of course, her attitude immediately changed. But it gives you sort of a nasty shock when you come up against it face to face. You read about it in the newspapers, you hear about it, but you don't really realize the significance of it until it hits you in the face yourself.
I think the major cause of the prejudice is skin color, and I think I don't know why, but I think the white people think that colored people have dirty skin, and they don't have progressive culture. So
Progressive culture, the average American thing to say. Those saying themselves not having progressive culture. Progressive culture, bro. That's the American. No culture,
so
bro.
the white
No
people
culture.
are the most great and wonderful person in the world.
On this matter of skin color, if we were here in the summer, you'd see lots of Americans on all the beaches trying to get brown. Significant. I wonder what that really means.
I think we white women have an inferiority complex. The
Maybe they want to get brown so they can see, so they can say the N-word.
Eastern women and the Negro women have a sort of reputation for being so beautiful. We're a little jealous of them.
I guess you just envy us colored people.
I think so.
Well, is there anything corresponding to that in?
Well, I think so, Mrs. Waller, because in the Philippines, it's just funny. There's a common tendency among women. Well, those who have a dark complexion, I should say, or just a tanned one, or just a brown complexion. Well, especially these high society matrons.
Oh, matron, okay. Yeah, it's saying matrons, and that's like something else. It's matron.
Well, even if they've got already wrinkles on their face, they still want to bleach their skin. Suppose you meet one right now and you say, "Oh, good morning," and you see that she's just tanned and brown. But after 3 months, you meet the same person, and with the usual society walk, and trying to be very dignified and cultured and everything. And you just notice that her face was lighter than before. And when you look at her hands and everything up to her arms, well, you'd be likable to exclaim, "Holy Moses," because there's a real, very great difference. You see, she's about very light here, but you look at the arms and everything, and the lower part